Clubhouse.
Why didn't you just tell me he fell off his horse?
That's what Rowdy said. You said never lie to you, so I didn't.
Well, you're gonna have to lie now. Or you're going to prison, son.
Rowdy ain't got no family. He's just a drifter. We could drop him off at the train station.
I spent a lot of trust in this boy.
The boy's putting a fair amount in us, too.
Quit fucking crying. Time to worry about consequences was before the fight. Now, there's a thing I could do, but if I do it, you don't ever leave this place. You'll be part of this ranch until the day you die. And you will do for this ranch what I say do. No matter what that is. You understand me?
This ranch is the only family I've got. They're never leaving it, no matter what you do.
This is Steph.
This is Sheila.
And welcome back to the Pod Clubhouse coverage of Yellowstone. We are talking about Season 5. Today's episode is number 7, titled The Dream Is Not Me. So, welcome back, Sheila.
Welcome back. So, this one is episode 7 of 14, so we are halfway.
Yeah.
I like this episode way better.
Agreed. Yeah, this was a much more exciting and entertaining. I feel like it had a little bit of everything. Like, it made me laugh. I got a little sad in a moment. Like, got a little distressed. I was like, ooh.
I know. We got brucellosis back again. No, I feel like the pacing of this episode is back to what we're used to.
Yeah.
A lot happened without seeming like it did. And we also got some, good cowboy time, which is always a good time. I didn't know Walker had so many teeth when he smiled.
We could even bring back Teeter Talk this episode because, man, jeez. But yeah, it was definitely a great episode. I really liked it. I really appreciate seeing as much as we did from Jamie and the Cowboys. Like, we always talk about how much we like the bunkhouse. I was going to say boys, but now there's a gang. So I'm so glad we got a little bit more of that and just that lighthearted entertainment from them. So it was definitely a great episode.
Although I feel like we're saying goodbye to Lainey Wilson's Abby. I feel like it makes me sad because she has literally been on my Spotify mix this week when I've needed a break from Christmas.
Same here. Oh yes, for sure. I immediately after that episode where she sang Watermelon Moonshine, immediately went to Spotify, added that to my playlist, and I've been listening to it nonstop. And so when I get in my car and it like populates the thing and it's like, hear more from Lainey Wilson, I'm like, yes.
I know, yes.
So
yes,
I'm a fan. I've had heard a couple of her songs. I just didn't realize that's who that was.
Yeah, this has definitely made me take another look, and I'm enjoying, like, especially last episode, last week's episode, rather, let me say that. That Watermelon Moonshine has definitely been something that has it lived rent-free in my head for about 7 or 8 days now.
Yeah. If you haven't looked it up yet, guys, you really need to. It's a good one.
Yeah, we'll add it to our Yellowstone Tunes playlist on Spotify.
I have already done that, Sheila.
Oh, thank you. I apologize again. My voice this week, I feel like I'm worse this week. I apologize in advance for my still coughing. Now I have like clogged ears, and it just doesn't want to leave me. So I apologize for how I sound. I sound worse than I normally sound. So, 'tis the season.
Yeah, right.
'Tis the season. One other thing I liked about this episode was the tie-in to the 4-6s. Like, I've been wondering for a long time how this was going to happen. We got Jimmy down there last season, but, it's literally been radio silence on everything else about the 4-6s ever since. I did do some information gathering just to try to see what we do know about the 4-6s as of now as a show. There's really nothing out there yet in terms of a premiere date, or it basically still says it's in development. They're not even shooting yet, apparently.
Oh, wow.
So I am keeping my fingers crossed that maybe in the back half of this season, we're going to see Jimmy as they make their way south.
I know, that's a big deal.
Yeah, because, you know, you've been talking about how much we kind of missed the dynamic that he brought to the show and the bunkhouse. So I feel like the pacing is back. So I'm a little less on the offensive side against this season so far. But yeah, I'm excited that the prospect of how they're going to tie the 4-6s in. So I like it.
I think it's pretty funny that she called him up and was just like asking questions like, dang.
Yeah, I mean, like, leave it to somebody, like, not in New York to be so willing to give out the information. Sure, we raised 8 million pounds of beef last year. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, my New York haunches were like, why is he so readily giving out, like, their business model?
Because we Texans are just nice like that.
I know. Well, you know. I read something somewhere. I think I saw it on Instagram. It was like, people from New York are not nice, but they're kind. Right. Whereas, like, people from the West are kind but not nice. So, like, a New Yorker will change your tire, you know, and tell you to get the hell out of the way and not be nice about it, but they're kind and they'll do it. Where, like, somebody from the West might be like, oh, that's too bad about your tire, man, and they won't do anything about it. So,
right.
I feel like that's, like, New York in a nutshell. Like, we'll tell you to get the fuck out of our face, but we'll actually sit there and help you.
But we will help you. That's nice. That's funny. So I think that this episode, just the opening scene of this flashback with Rip and this other drifter cowboy, that was so dramatic and intense. I was like, whoa, okay, stop, like, I was very much, okay, that's enough. Like, it was a lot.
And it was really
to me,
bloody.
Yes.
And it was in the dark, and it was still really bloody.
I appreciate the sort of like jumping right into the theatrics of it all. I was like, dang, man, that's how we're starting this? Okay. But that was a little bit graphic.
It was. But I also think it's really sweet that even though Beth treated Rip like less than dirt, that he still was defending her honor. Like, I feel like this shows like his true nature, his true character.
And that he didn't lie.
Yes. He was told to.
Yeah.
And he still didn't do it. Good for him.
So I thought that was interesting to see Rip sort of indoctrinated to the train station information. Sort of appreciate the way that John worded that. Like, I can help you fix this, but then you have to stay here forever.
I'm not sure if I follow the solution. So the solution is to erase Rip from the map because he killed this guy and he's going to have to introduce him to the train station.
No, I thought he was already erased from the map because of what he did to his stepfather.
That's what I thought.
Did John use the words erase from the map?
Basically, he was saying that you can never leave this ranch. So, like, I'm summing it up by saying that, like, he's erasing him. But I was like, I thought he was already erased from the map when he came to the ranch.
Yeah.
I guess this is basically tethering him to the ranch for the rest of his life.
Yeah. I thought this also might be a scene where we have to see Rip get branded. So I was wondering if that would happen because I guess once you know about the train station, you can never leave. But we didn't see that. But I kind of thought that might be the moment that
that's actually really good. I didn't even consider that. But now that you said it, we'll probably see the branding happen then probably next episode. Because if they're doing this flashback, because they kind of keep doing this flashback scene at some point in these kind of like middle episodes, I guess they're going to have to get rid of Rowdy's body next episode, and I guess that's when the branding would happen. Yeah, I
guess
because we saw the cattle brands this episode, and I was like, well, they haven't been used in a while.
I wonder if those ranch hands were like, oh god, like
my DNA's on there.
Yeah, jeez.
Sorry.
I just appreciate any time. I love these flashbacks because I'm really happy when we get to see Josh Lucas. I love young John Denton. It was hard to say, young John.
It's not easy to say that, actually. I did love, I don't know if you picked up on it, as John and Rip were talking in this flashback scene, and he's telling him that he can never leave the ranch, and he's going to have to be here for the rest of his life. The theme song is playing in the background, but it's a play on the theme. It was very low. I listen to everything with headphones when I watch these screeners, so I do hear everything kind of like up close and in stereo in my ears. And it was like this very soft building, because then the scene ends and we go right into the main theme. But if you go back and listen, there's a really soft crescendoing play on the theme, and I just really appreciated what it added to the scene. It was building this gravity of the situation. Like, you're 14. Well, he's probably not 14. He's probably like 18 at this point, 17, 18, based on when Beth was going away to college. And he doesn't know what the rest of his life has in store, but now he's made a choice for the rest of his life.
Yeah, this is a big deal. I didn't specifically notice the music, but I always appreciate good background music. That's how I randomly find a lot of music that I like, is from TV shows. And then when I play it in my classes or somewhere else, people are like, where is that song from? I'm like, oh, it's actually from this other random show. I like when music adds a lot to a TV show, but I didn't specifically notice that.
There is a great website called TuneFind, TUNEFIND.
I need this.
.com, and it basically, it's like a wiki website where people add to it, and you can type in the name of any show, and it will tell you the names of the songs that are in the show, and you can add, you can ask questions, you know, if you want like clarification. It tells you the scene where a song is played, so that has been a very useful website in my life.
That's awesome. How did I not know about this? Because I'm obsessed with music I hear from TV shows. So
yeah, so I mean, you can go back and find whatever it is that you're looking for.
Yay.
You want to reach back and you want to go back to like Punky Brewster days, you can go back. I don't know if it has that, but it definitely has more contemporary.
Okay, like random side note, and you just made me think of it. I have in my shopping cart right now a t-shirt from Jessie and the Rippers.
Oh my
from
God.
Full House, and I'm like, I really want to buy it. I don't know.
Mercy.
I know. It's like his face, and then it just says Jessie and the Rippers, and I'm like, yes, but I don't need another t-shirt. I don't know.
No,
but
I think you
it's
really
in my
do.
cart.
I think you do.
So, well, thanks for that info. I needed that. Learn something new every day.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to share the love.
You do. You share a lot of information. Useful.
I don't know if it's useful, but we'll definitely place in the top 5 if we play trivia together for sure.
Oh, yes,
I've got
girl,
a ton of useless knowledge up there.
We should totally do that. I need to go. I'm good at Friends trivia, Gilmore Girls, Schitt's Creek. That might be it.
Yellowstone. I say we'd be pretty good at Yellowstone.
Okay, I bet we could do pretty kick-ass at Yellowstone trivia, to be honest.
Fun fact, so the same night that this episode comes out is the same night that 1923 premieres, before we get too far into this episode. So going forward, that's going to be on Paramount Plus. You got the first one tonight with this Yellowstone episode, but going forward, it's on the Paramount Plus network. So just to keep it more confusing.
Right.
So I'm excited to see that. I'm a big fan of Harrison Ford. I'm a big fan of Helen Mirren.
It's funny because I get a lot of text messages about where my friends can watch Yellowstone and asking for my Paramount Plus login. And I don't actually have that because I have the screeners. So I'm like, I cannot. I'm sorry. I don't actually watch this on TV. I watch it on my iPad. My bad. And they're like, oh, man. Sorry, friends.
Sorry. It's the few perks we get from doing these podcasts.
Yeah.
Early
don't
access.
Actually have to pay for the Paramount Plus.
Okay, sorry, back to Yellowstone, episode 7. Sorry to digress, but I didn't want to forget that because our friends over at Pod Clubhouse, Caroline and Mike, are going to be having a podcast all about 1923, and I definitely wanted to mention that before we got too far into
it's going to be great.
Yes, I'm excited for that.
So just like I'm happy when I see these flashbacks with Josh Lucas, I'm also equally happy when I see Rainwater and Mo. I just love him. Both of them, actually.
He's a force to be reckoned with. I feel like his profile has been raised this season.
Yes, because remember, he just started off like a driver.
Yeah, he was like security
we didn't
bodyguard.
know he was like an advisor.
Yeah, like I just feel like, now he's like the guy in the room with Rainwater. So I like that because now he's like a confidant. He's, a couple episodes ago, we were talking about like the council, like the tribe council, kind of not being at the forefront like they were in earlier seasons. And I feel like the council has given Rainwater enough reason to not trust them. So I like the fact that Mo is the person that he is, confiding in and that Mo is somebody who is so upstanding that would definitely have his back no matter what. I feel like this man oozes ethics and integrity.
Yeah. He just has like such a presence. And I don't think that that's acting.
No, I agree completely. I feel like that's just his personality.
Yeah. I just feel like he has that
like
presence.
that command.
Yeah.
But I also appreciate how his role as Rainwater's, I guess he's like Rainwater's version of Rip as well. You know, he's the confidant, but he's also the guy who gets stuff done. Yeah,
he's had a few moments like cleaning up some messes.
Yeah, like last episode with Chester.
Yeah.
Remember Chester?
Yeah. So what do we think of this meeting with Linnell? I really like that she's reaching out to them to give them a heads up. And I don't know, I really like that they like sort of came to the same team, worked together. I thought it was really like respectful the way that meeting went down.
I agree that I feel like it was very respectful. I feel that their prior relationship and their rapport from when she was governor has really helped here. But also there's a disconnect here because, you know, and he calls it out. He's asked John for a meeting. That meeting has not come. And he's being told this with the senator there and nobody else, right? So, you know, the disconnect of John not being there, I feel like this is going to drive a wedge between John and Rainwater where they were on decent enough terms, you know, the last couple of seasons. But however, Rainwater does rise above that sort of snub, I guess. I'm going to call it a snub because he did ask John for a meeting, and granted the time and place wasn't the best, and he even acknowledged that at the graveside. But, you know, Linnell even says, like, he's off playing hooky, and Rainwater's face is just like, oh my God, like, seriously? Like, this is the man that, you know, we've entrusted our future to? But about this meeting with Linnell, I think it's really a very savvy move on Rainwater's part to get her to stand by him and disavow the pipeline all in the same press conference just moments after being handed some really awful news. Like, he was able to get it together real fast to make this a double win for him. Like, he gets, you know, the federal senator standing next to him saying that she stands with him and also thinks that this pipeline idea, you know, going underneath their drinking water reservoir is a terrible idea. I feel like the other shoe is going to drop because John is absent from this, and somehow this is going to reflect poorly on him. Like, I don't know if he's going to feel like Linnell is ganging up on him, you know, with his quote-unquote enemy, one of his enemies. I'm just wondering how this is going to play out because someone somewhere is going to have their feathers ruffled.
I think, though, that several people, but specifically Linnell, has been warning John. Like, you're sort of not paying attention. You're not checked in. You're not acting like a governor. Like, this isn't going to go well for you. So I think, you know, John's sort of ignoring that. And here she is. She's got to sort of move forward whether John's there or not. And so, like, if he's upset about it, then he should have been there, you know? So I think she kind of has, like, sort of a justified.
Right, like, she's got a pass here, but, like, she even knew that he was off playing hooky, and basically no one's answering calls at the governor's house.
Right. So, I mean, I think she's kind of like, well, she could say, like, well, I tried. You didn't listen to me. So even if John is upset with her, I feel like she sort of has, quote unquote, an excuse, you know?
No, you're right. She's given him enough warning that he needs to take this seriously, and he can't just...
And same with Rainwater. He's asked several times. He's, you know, said, I need to talk to you. So I feel like John, just ignoring this situation is going to come back to bite him.
And also the fact that John doesn't have anybody in his government right now, with the exception of Clara. He's fired everybody else. So anyone else who was...
Technically, he has Summer, right?
Well, yeah. Apparently she's doing triple win. But, you know, he fired the whole cabinet a couple episodes ago, so he doesn't have the infrastructure.
It's like nobody's doing anything at the Capitol. That's not good.
Right, exactly. Like, the people's work still needs to be done, even though you're off branding cattle, Mr. Governor.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just, like, I feel like this is going to be one of the sticky points when we come back from this little break that's coming up. But, yeah, I just feel like this is going to drive a wedge between John and Rainwater. The fact that he's been so absent and has now kind of fallen down before the finish line on, you know, delivering some important news to Rainwater.
I'm kind of thinking about this pipeline, though, and like what other option they have other than just to get rid of it altogether. Because I'm guessing if it's going through the reservation, that means it can't go through John's conservation easement and all this stuff. Like, it's a big undertaking to try to move that, I guess. So, and it also kind of made me a little sad that the government can just sort of come in and do whatever they want ultimately.
Right, because this one is the path of least legal resistance.
Yeah.
Like that was
that kind of sucks. Like it just in my mind, like a very general idea. I was like, man, that sucks. Like the government can just sort of do whatever they want.
Yeah, and Linnell even kind of glosses over this saying, well, there's state land, to one side and parkland, and the other was private ranches with funds to fight it, and the governor's backing. So that tells you all you need to know.
It just sucks. Like I was like, that was sort of my takeaway. Like, man, that news, like you said, it just really sucks. So I think, the plan is pretty aggressive. Like Rainwater and Linnell are, okay, we're going to do a press conference like tomorrow. That's pretty aggressive as far as getting ahead of it, like she said. So.
Right. And then it also got the sense to me that this is going to come out in front of the federal announcement.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a surprise kind of on a lot of fronts. And I just this is where I'm wondering what the fallout's going to be, because now John's going to be blindsided. Rainwater's going to feel snubbed. And there's enough bad blood underneath the water under the bridge that they've allowed to happen to this point. I just feel like it's going to churn up some of like the season 1 animosity. Remember when John had Rainwater tossed in jail and stuff?
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to those days. I was, they've done a lot of work. But it's just, this is too big to not have some hurt feelings on both sides, I feel.
Right. To not have a reaction.
There's somebody else who's not so happy with John, in addition to Rainwater. This conversation with Jamie and Sarah. In the beginning, when Jamie is talking to Sarah about like his upbringing and his passion for the ranch, does this sound like a campaign ad to you?
No, I liked this part of that conversation specifically so much because that's what I've been saying all along is he's like, why does he hate me for becoming the very thing he forced me to be? And that's what I feel like the root issue is. So I'm glad that like he finally said it, because I don't think anyone on the show, like any of the characters, have actually addressed that issue. We've talked about it a lot, but no one's actually said, why does he hate me so much when all I've done is what he asked me to do? And I just needed someone to say it.
That
I just
part
needed someone
agree
to say
with.
Yeah,
but this part about him, his passion for the ranch and bull genetics and the nuances of pasture, swapping and stuff like that, I'm kind of calling BS on a lot of what he said here.
Why?
Because everything we've seen of Jamie up until this point is that he is more comfortable in a suit, in a courtroom, and the only time he's been a cowboy is when he was forced to do it after his last big family betrayal. I say last big because I feel like the next one is it's already FedExed. It's already the delivery date is set for next Sunday. Well, no, next Sunday, a week from Sunday. That's the only time that he's really been on the ranch. He has not expressed a lot. I
think he was talking about his childhood, like his teenage years. He learned all that.
Sure, his teenage years, but that's a long time removed. He's 40-something years old.
That's how he was raised, like to know that stuff. And then all of a sudden, his dad, he gets an acceptance letter from Harvard, and he's shipped off and turned into a lawyer, which he didn't want to be. Like, that didn't feel forced to me or rehearsed. It got real icky when Sarah started talking and about like tourism is the only resource, and and she's she felt more like a campaign ad to me, the way that she was just interacting with him. And then it really creeped me out when she was like, just say it, like, just ask me to help you save it. I was like, what the hell kind of, that is so manipulative and creepy. Like, why?
Well,
that was
she's
weird.
Absolutely there with the marionette strings. And, I didn't know initially what her mechanism was going to be to get to Jamie, but this is the most effective. Like, she has nailed his insecurity to the nines, and she just knows how to, like, push all his buttons. Like, this conversation. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about. So this conversation that Jamie and Sarah have in the middle of this campaign speech, between his campaign speech and her campaign speech, what are we to make of Jamie saying that he doesn't want John's love, but he wants his approval, his appreciation? Can't you say that the three of those are kind of intertwined when you're talking about a parent?
In general, probably, but not with John Dutton. I don't feel like he loves his children. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Like, we've talked. You said this is not a family. This is a
like
business.
I don't.
Highly
I think
dysfunctional.
I think his parental abilities are severely lacking. So I think that Jamie might recognize it, that love is not what could come from John. It's maybe he's just not capable of that, but I do see that he just could expect some approval and appreciation for everything he did. At least appreciation. Like, did he even get that when he graduated Harvard and came back to Montana and was being a lawyer? Like, did he even get any of that? You know, like, this is exactly what we need. Thanks, son. You know?
I have, like, something just popped into my head, and I'm actually feeling really sad for Jamie right now. Do you think John and Evelyn went to his graduation from Harvard?
Oh, gosh.
Well, I'm sorry. Evelyn would not have been alive.
No.
Based on the timeline, because he was born in 1979.
Okay, that does make me sense. If he did,
he would have graduated college. He would have graduated undergrad in like 2001 or so, and then law school 3 years later. So he would have been about 25. So do you think John went to Massachusetts to see his graduation?
Not if it was calving season.
I'm going to say no, because it probably fell smack in the middle. It was the springtime. They're calving, right?
Damn, Sheila.
I think we just put that as a Twitter poll.
Okay, let's do it.
I don't think he went. I think there was ranch business to attend to, and he found a convenient excuse not to go.
Oh, shit. That sucks. Now I'm sad.
And I don't think any of the other Duttons would have went either.
Beth wouldn't have. Casey might have
was
been
probably too young. Lee was probably knee-deep in calving, branding as well with John.
Yeah.
And Beth is sure as shit not going, so...
Oh, hell no. Well, damn it.
Damn, yeah. Talk about, resentment. My mom flew all the way to Australia to see me graduate.
Aw. So nice.
Yeah, long story. Another time.
Yeah. I think that this conversation was sort of the beginning of the scheme, and Sarah pulling that marionette string to sort of get him to say that, like, I just want him to just appreciate me, and for her to be like, well, you and I both know that's never going to happen, and this ranch is never going to work, and tourism is the only thing that's going to save Montana. Like, getting him to be like, yeah, you're right. I think he was already somewhat bought in to her, and I think now he's officially, like, bought in. Like, he's all in. Yeah. I think all his chips are now on her
like on Sarah's side of the table now, yeah.
Yeah, so then, like I said, it just for some reason got real creepy to me when she was like, just ask me to help you save it. I was like, is she trying to be sexy or
like... I know, I'm confused between her power plays and her sex moves. I
was like, I get the, like, maybe some people like that sort of bossy sex play, I guess, but that was weird at the moment. I was like, okay. And then I think it's even almost creepier that she shows up at his office the next day without him knowing that she was coming. Like, that freaked me out.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is very one-sided. She's getting all the information from him, but she's not sharing any information. And I don't know if he's smart enough to see that. His secretary tries to give him a solid and warn him, and, Jamie's secretary for the win.
I really like that line where she said, men know what women want them to know. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Well, it's kind of true, right? But she sees through Sarah's BS so fast, and Jamie's currently blind to it because his other head is having so much fun. So his actual head is not in the game. But it was interesting to me that the environmental groups would now be on the bandwagon to sue Market Equities as well because of the conservation easement. And I'm wondering if that was just a happy accident or if this was a calculated move on Beth and John's part. I think it's just a happy accident. I don't think that they were planning on having additional filers on the lawsuit against Market Equities if Market Equities was to sue the state. So I think this was just a happy accident. I don't know if Beth and John knew about this, but Jamie, in his non-ranch legal prowess, was able to see right through.
I think that you might be right. I think that Beth had said she was, sort of one step ahead of all of this, not two. So maybe she didn't think that far ahead about who else would be involved or how that would affect Market Equities or suing the state. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know that it was that planned out. I think her putting the land in a conservation easement was strictly to protect the land around the ranch so nothing could go through it. But I don't know that she really saw all the fallout of all of these other...
Yeah, I don't think that there was that they figured out who would else be in line behind them to kind of protecting the ranch.
Right.
It's always just been them kind of with their laser focus ahead on how to save the ranch, not really playing into who else would be involved.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is an impeachable offense enough to oust a governor like John Dutton?
So he, as the governor, put it in a conservation easement, not he as a landowner.
I don't know if market equities really cares at this point.
Well, does it matter? Is what I'm asking. Does it matter if the governor did that?
I don't know. That's interesting. That I think the legal political nuances here they haven't been unraveled enough for us. Mm-hmm. But Sarah mentions that the state's going to be on the hook for the $4 billion lawsuit. And
I think that's
So I think the fact that I'm going to say it's probably private citizen John, but in his role as governor, didn't make it any better for him.
Right. I mean, I think there's a lot of words you could use sort of in a suit against him as like, neglect or any of these legal terms you want to use, but he's not paying
bad faith, or bad faith
like he's making deals, he's making bad faith negotiations, like all of these things, as in we have no intention of carrying through with this. Like those all look bad. I think it looks like an impeachable offense. I don't know that John specifically did that, but I think him being non-attentive and not present and just doing that one bill of canceling the airport, right? and then walking away and being nowhere to be seen, that looks bad, and so I do think that even though he got elected, like you said before, it wasn't a landslide. He hasn't been doing press conferences. He hasn't been showing his face at other things. Like at this point, if anybody else in the state is like, hey, well, what about what I said or what I needed? Those people could easily flip sort of against him, I guess is what I'm saying.
But do you think that this is going to be enough to oust a governor like John Dutton? Let's say, for instance, he'll be part of the old boys club, doing the favors. Do you think this is enough to get him out?
Yeah. $4 billion of your state revenue. Yeah.
Yeah. Bankrupting the state.
Yeah. That's a pretty big problem.
So I did some research.
Shocker.
There have been a handful of gubernatorial impeachments in U.S. history, and there have been more resignations. So for the record, Montana has only had 2 governors resign. The last one was in 1933, and that governor, John Erickson, went on to become the senator, so he resigned to go to the Senate. The other governor to resign was back in 1908, and it was due to poor health. He couldn't do it anymore. But the last governor to be impeached in the U.S. was actually Rod Blagojevich of Illinois. Do you remember him?
No.
He was removed from office in 2009 after trying to sell then-President Obama's former Senate seat.
To sell his Senate seat?
Yes, he was offering up the Senate seat to the highest bidder. That's an impeachable offense.
Wow.
And he actually got convicted and went to jail. He was supposed to serve 14 years. He served 8. His sentence was commuted quietly in the midst of a pandemic.
I bet.
So, anyway, but that's the last impeachment of a governor that we've had in our country. So
interesting.
We might get another one.
Yeah. I don't know why Jamie doesn't sort of, like, when he's alone with Sarah, I think Ellis leaves the room. And why doesn't he say, like, hey, why did you just, like, spring this on me? But he doesn't. And then she sort of comes in.
All sultry.
Yeah, she comes in again with her, like, speak. And, like, this is, you know what? Oh, it just occurred to me. This is an impeachable offense. Oh, yeah. You know, what happens? It's like, just.
And asking about
she's icky.
The procedure for replacing a governor. Making it completely sexual. And that her PAC is going to fund his campaign. And then she leaves.
She said, we're fully committed to your election. But I did notice that she said, we want to make you, we want to give you a chance to become governor and take our land back. So she didn't say your land, but I don't know. Yeah.
It's just sad that he's not seeing any of this, that he's being so manipulated, and he's going to have a come to Jesus moment. He's going to feel like an idiot. He's going to have a shotgun in his mouth again in the field. And
oh gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like what if he sort of wins and becomes the governor? Do you know what I mean? Like he could sort of fuck it up like he always does, or Beth could come in and threaten his life like she always does, Or, I mean, this is some pretty powerful backing. Some bigger things going on. You know, $4 billion being lost. The state is being bankrupt. And then here comes Jamie Dutton saying, I'm going to do it. You know, I want this and I'm going to get us back on track. And John's nowhere to be seen. Like, this could actually happen is what I'm saying. Like, do you think?
It could happen. It just, hold on.
Like, to me, it would feel sort of like a win for Jamie, even though he's like looks slimy, I guess, to us because he's stabbing the Duttons in the back. But for him, look at it from his perspective. Like, this could be, like, it could happen, I think.
There's a couple of things that I just have in the back of my mind. I'm wondering about how sure-footed Marquette Equities is. Remember, they fired the CEO. Their stock was imploding. There's like some dominoes that are tumbling, and I don't remember who said it, but they didn't expect Marquette Equities to last the year.
But also think about how if you were struggling and you needed that airport, you needed that income, you could fund a campaign, couldn't you? In a state like Montana.
Right. I'm sure they still have resources. It just makes me wonder about Jamie's ability to follow through.
Well, not without someone telling him what to say.
Right. Well, but that's just it. Like, Jamie on his own does not have the sort of wherewithal to make this happen over the finish line. So that just makes me a little nervous because in the past, things have gone south on him and he hasn't handled it well, to say the least. So I'm just wondering, sort of how this is going to play out if he doesn't have the backing of Sarah basically standing up behind. And then I'm always going to say, Christina is somewhere lurking in Montana.
Yeah, but she wants him to be the governor. She wants him to.
Yeah, I just don't know if she's going to appreciate Sarah, the method.
She doesn't want to be with Jamie. She don't care.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like it's one of these like territorial things. I don't know. Those women in Montana are built different. I don't know.
I don't know. I just feel like this is his moment that like could happen. And he's already so disconnected from his family. Like, I don't know. I know it sounds like people don't like him because he's not loyal, but I almost am kind of rooting for him at this point because John and Beth are such shitheads to him. So I don't know. Part of me kind of wants him to win something.
Like I said it before, I really like Jamie's character because of how complex he is and how slimy he can be and then how competent he can be. And it's just like, well, which one are you?
Yeah, how insecure he can be.
Right, and how easily manipulated he can be by Sarah the reporter from way back in season 1, by Christina, by Beth,
everybody.
By these women in particular are the ones that like mold and shape him however they want. But Sarah said something that I didn't want to let go before we moved off of Jamie. She said that John is jealous of Jamie because John can't do what Jamie does. Do you remember that that part?
Yeah.
I thought this was a very interesting spin, and I hadn't considered it before, and I wanted to kind of get your take on it, too. Like, John clearly resents the need he has in Jamie. Like, he needs Jamie for certain things, but it grates on him anytime that he has to have Jamie do anything for him. But jealous wasn't something I thought of before. Is she onto something, or is she just stroking his ego? Because, like, it just gave me enough pause to be like, that's an interesting take on it.
I didn't give it much thought because in the moment it felt like she was just stroking his ego, like she was just saying what Jamie wanted to hear. So I didn't really consider that as an option as of John actually being jealous. I don't think jealous is the word. Maybe resentful that he needs him.
Probably resentful. I'm thinking that he's probably resentful of the fact that he picked the wrong kid to go to Harvard.
Who should he send? Beth?
Beth.
Yeah.
Because if Beth had the same training that Jamie had, she would be unstoppable for him.
That's true. Yeah, jealous is not the word that I would use, but I definitely think resentful.
It was good because, I mean, it did what she needed it to do for Jamie.
Yeah. So I liked seeing Jamie practice his speech. I thought it was a good speech, actually.
Oh, the one at the end?
Yeah. But of course, she's in there, her little lingerie.
Yeah, it's very easy to sound forceful when you know that there's sex at the end of it,
Oh, jeez. They like turned to the couch. She's in there in her little nightie. I was like, of course.
Pink nightie, yeah. So when he's practicing his speech here, at the very end of this episode, calling on a vote to impeach John, I was like, damn, Beth is going to kill Jamie.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is it. Like, this is the end for Jamie. Like, she is just going to decapitate him.
Shit. He doesn't know what he's doing. That's the problem.
No,
Jamie,
he doesn't, because he hasn't thought this through, because he's not thinking clearly. But
think about this. Okay, so when is this speech happening? It feels close, right?
It feels imminent.
Like it's imminent, okay?
It feels like it might be on the same day as the press conference.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. It feels like the same urgency of Rainwater and Linnell's press conference. So is all this shit going down one day? Because, damn, that would be good.
Well, the next episode is the mid-season finale. So it's going to have to end on a cliffhanger, because I don't know when it's coming back. I can't find bleep all on the internet about when this is coming back. I don't know if it's in the spring. I don't know if it's going to be after 1923
you mean we're
finishes
taking more than a week off?
Yeah. It sounds like this is going off the air for a while.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'll go on YouTube TV again and see when the next one is. It just has it through next. It's not coming out next week. It's not coming out on Christmas Day. It's coming out on New Year's Day. This next episode, episode 8. Right. And then after that, I think it goes on a break.
Aww. Sad. I just think this has to be the episode. Like, how amazing would that episode be? I want to see John lose his shit. He just was going to break this, 100-year-old. He's just the fire. No, I want to see him, pitch a fit. I was come on. I don't know. I just need...
storm into the Capitol, be like, get off that podium.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's going to be some epic throwdown at the State House because, I feel like Linnell's press conference is going to happen at the reservation. I don't think that's going to happen in a political forum. But Jamie's...
I don't know.
State
He's
House
going to be on the...
plea.
Yeah,
they're both going to be on the news. It's going to be, POW 1, POW 2. And for all the media sympathy or the media sway that was in John's court last episode, I feel like it's really the tide is going to turn quickly. Just like it does in all the political...
This would be crazy if they were both on the same day. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, I'm excited. Get those screeners to us quick.
Yay.
Not like they've been doing the day of the...
But I hope, you're right. I hope that Jamie has some sort of security detail because Beth is going to storm into the Capitol with a shotgun.
I'm telling you, she's going to decapitate him. That's it. He's going to the train station one way or another. Beth is just going to lose her shit. The kinder, gentler Beth that's been emerging. And we'll talk about her next. I just feel like this is going to bring back, the one that fought out the Beck brothers.
Well, I guess there could be a small chance that she's on a plane to where? Colorado? Texas? Where were they going?
Oh, yeah, wherever
they're stopping in Colorado or somewhere.
I don't know. There was a whole lot of places listed along the way, but, she's planning to ride out.
She might not immediately be able to kill him at the moment.
Right. It might be delayed.
Yeah. By another plane flight back to where she just came to kill my brother. Oh, see, okay. This has to be so good. Oh my gosh. Please make it on the same day.
We have high hopes for the next episode.
I do.
We want some fireworks. It'll kind of undo the last 2 episodes that I wasn't that wild about. This will erase all of those negative comments that I had. Sorry for the negative comments, but they were warranted.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we really have this whole branding bunkhouse fair thing in the middle here. And it takes up so much of the episode, and it is so great to see these dynamics. I really enjoy this whole stretch of the episode.
I did too. Because it made me laugh. It made me oh shit about the land and the cattle can't be sick and what are we gonna do? And then it made me a little sad when Carter's but what about me? And so it had a lot in it and I really enjoyed it.
It was so... Literally everybody had a heart-tugging storyline, pulling on the heartstrings kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So this conversation between Summer and Beth, so the morning after.
Yeah, the walk of shame.
The men get up at dark
funny.
o'clock. The walk of shame was funny.
She said something this better be worth a walk of shame or something.
Yeah, because half her church is camped out behind.
Oh my gosh. That's
Can you imagine? No. But then there's this, so Laramie emerges from her tent and Summer emerges and Beth is sitting out there judging the little sluts.
And Abby.
Yeah. But now, so Summer has to have her moment where her and Beth have to spar a little bit. But do you think that Summer and Beth have come to some sort of common ground? I feel like Beth isn't being quite as mean with her as she was in the past.
Yeah. I think that it might have cooled off a little bit. I don't think it would take much to boil it back over again. But I think
but like Beth has stopped calling her names, at least to her face.
Yeah. I think there's some sort of cool down. Like, I mean, after you beat up someone, I guess you feel better about it. I don't know. I've never beat up someone. But...
I don't know. I never really beat anyone up, with the exception of the kid who tried to steal my brother's bike when I was 9.
No,
that's the one fight I've ever been in my life. It was fun.
But I bet you felt better after it.
Oh yeah, I pushed this like big kid off because like I was banking on the fact he wasn't going to hit a girl.
Right.
I was like, you know how much overtime my mom had to work for that? Pow.
But yeah, I mean, maybe there's a little bit of like, I wouldn't say just like, I'm going to leave you alone. Maybe.
Yeah, it's like this like mutual agreement to shut down
each other.
The hostility.
Yeah, just to be
agreeing to get along kind of thing, I feel.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah. I hate that phrase so much.
I do too. I
hate that phrase.
I was about to say that.
I hate it is what it is. I hate that one too.
I'm like, if I'm disagreeing with you over something, it's because I'm passionate about it. If I don't care, then I'm just going to let you say what I like. Well, okay, well, that's fine. But if I'm actually taking the effort to disagree with you, it's because I fully 100% to my core need you to understand my side. So agree to disagree is like, no, I can't. Not about this. Like,
no, not today.
The reason I'm arguing with you is because I need you to hear me.
Right.
So
and agree to disagree, but like, I know I'm not going to change your position, but like, I will be respectful and voicing my opinion. Not going to call you names like Beth.
I feel like people say agree to disagree when they're tired of listening to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, okay, fine. I give up.
Like if I felt like you heard my side and at least respectfully listened, and then still didn't agree with me, which I, of course, never, but at least listened and said, okay, thank you for sharing. Like, but I feel like that's not how people use that. They use it as dismissive. Shut up. Like,
it's very dismissive. It's dismissive. It's like, I'm tired of you. So we are not going to use agree to disagree on this show.
We both feel very passionate about that phrase.
Yes. And the same with it is what it is. No, it is not what it is. It just, sometimes it's just a shitty situation and it just, suck it up. Okay, back to the show.
Anyways.
Sorry as we digress into our own, philosophies. Are you surprised that Beth has basically had like an about face on life? Like her marriage, I don't know what to do with a happy Beth.
I like it though.
I feel like she's struggling with her newfound happiness and letting go of some of like the callousness that has ruled her life. I feel like she's caught somewhere in the middle.
I mean, when you live your whole life on the defense and...
Well, I'd say she's more like on the offense. Like, I feel like she's the one attacking everybody.
Agree, but that's a defense mechanism so that she doesn't get attacked.
So like her wall is up all the time.
So when you're on that level of like, she just doesn't know how to like be anything other than that. So I think it's weird for her. So she's like, oh, this is actually nice. Weird.
Right, like she's plagued by these dreams.
Yeah.
Of how horrible she was to Rip and stuff like that. And she's trying to atone for that. I just don't know if she's going to be able to do it without help. And I don't think that Jamie's going to help any of this going forward.
This is going to send her over the edge, back on the other side.
Yeah. She's drinking less.
Yeah.
At least to the point that we saw her in prior seasons. I feel like she's more lucid. And I feel like that's a product of her being happier.
I am liking seeing the side of her. I just don't know that she doesn't know what to do with it. She doesn't know how to stay there, I guess. Rip said that you need something to fight. And I think that's just who she is. I don't know that she can change that part of her. So.
Well, I don't think it's going to change that part of her, but I feel like it's just not seeping into every aspect of her life now.
Well, now she's got to be mean to the sluts just because it's fun.
But even then, it still didn't have the same venom.
No, it didn't.
That it's had in the past. But now this conversation between Beth and Monica, I was like, oh my God. I wanted to lead with this because I was like, oh my God, this was a lot.
It was so sweet. So it was big for them, I think. I appreciate Monica saying that, like, why, like calling her out too, like, why are you so mean? Like, why are you like this? And why are you not mean to me? I liked her sort of addressing this with Beth.
Monica's, I feel like one of the few people who can call out that elephant in the room with Beth sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And, they've had their moments where, Beth has stuck up for her in some really big ways. I'm thinking of the department store a couple of seasons back.
That was huge. Yeah.
It really was. And I feel like that's one of those things that you come out a different person on the other side of something like that. Like your relationship with that person is now forever changed. And for them, it's for the good.
Yeah, for her to confide in Monica, because Monica's like, I don't need your sympathy. Like, I don't need you to be nice to me. She's like, no, I genuinely care because I know how you feel. Huge.
And that she can make the distinction that, you know, Monica is maybe not a person that she should be as cruel to. And this is what I mean about like Beth being like two different people now. Like, would Beth of 2 seasons ago divulge this information to another living soul?
No.
Hell, Rip doesn't even really know the truth.
Not that we've seen, yeah.
No, I don't think he does, because I think he would, like, you know, the threat that Beth made against Jamie, that, you know, her husband's going to rip his arms off, he doesn't know. So now I just want to know, like, what do you think? Like, what does her now sharing this information with Monica mean? Does it go any further? Does Monica say something to Casey?
I don't think so. I feel like this was such a sincere moment between them. I think it was just a moment. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? But meaningful and powerful for just them two. I don't think that Monica explaining it to Casey would even convey what actually happened between them. So I think this is just like one of those moments between them two that they've, again, sort of recognized something in each other that they care about.
I thought the scene was just beautifully written. I think it was so short, but it was so powerful. And you said the right words. I think meaningful and powerful between these two women who have sort of been like at opposite ends of the same family sphere.
Yeah.
And now they share something so devastating and so personal and so awful that Beth can't even share it with the love of her life.
And that neither of them, you know, it's like not something they're going to want to talk about to everybody. It's just something between them. And I think Beth saying like, I've never told this to anyone is her way of saying like, don't tell anybody. So I think that this secret is safe with Monica. I don't think she's telling anybody.
This is what I mean. Like, this show did so much in an hour. Whereas, like, the last 2 episodes were like, what the hell happened in these 2 hours?
This is like OG Yellowstone type of writing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, that's what I said at the beginning. Like, I feel like the pace is back.
Yes.
And oh my Lord, did things pick up from here? My head was spinning the first time I watched this. I was like, wait, what just happened here? All of a sudden, like, we're talking about brucellosis again.
Yeah.
That's that nasty bovine disease. It's a hoofed animal disease. I didn't go back to see what it is.
Yeah.
It's just nasty. It's to do with, like, their stomachs.
Yeah. Gross.
It's nasty.
This little baby calf bison. I was like, ew, poor, like the baby. What is it with the animals in this show? So immediately, you know, gosh. And then they write up, there's something you want to see. He's like, I know. And then this next one. And then that's like 6, 7, 8 calves that they just found in this one field. So this is a big problem.
So brucellosis is very quickly, it's a bacterial disease in animals that are most commonly affected include sheep, cattle, goats, pigs, and dogs, among others.
Dogs?
So dogs can get brucellosis. It's an infectious disease caused by bacteria. And people can get it.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
And great. It looks like the flu.
Oh, no. This is how you end up on one of those medical shows. Like,
yeah. So in severe cases,
can't diagnose you.
Yeah, the central nervous system and lining of the heart can be affected.
Jeez.
Yeah. But the symptoms include fever, sweats, headaches, back pains, and physical weakness. That sounds like what I had last week.
Nice. You have the bovine
I have brucellosis
flu.
in New York. Don't think that's ever happened before.
Right. This is like, I mean, devastating to have to kill off the entire herd. This is just so stressful. This whole scenario of like John coming back to the ranch house, like, shit, like what the hell am I going to do? If they test negative, I got to get them out of here. We got to ship them off. We got to pay this. And then Beth's like, we don't have money for this shit. Like, what the hell are you talking about? And I do agree with her. Like, why would you not sell them for meat? At this point, you have to do what's going to make you the money. And he's like, well, we sell cattle, not beef. Like, okay, but do you want to keep your business going or not?
Has John been blindsided by Beth here and like her business smarts? Like, if he's been in the business so long, how hasn't he figured out this end game? Like, your cattle have a point where they become something else.
He just doesn't want to. To me, it just seems it's not even worth thinking about because that's not how my dad did it. That's not how my grandpa. Like, he's so stuck on tradition or whatever promise he made that he's not even going to consider other options. I don't think he's even thought about it.
Yeah, he just kept like this whole back and forth between them. She would volley something and he'd be like, well, they haven't figured that out, or they haven't figured out that the packer, I guess, you know, whatever the nuance of the beef game is. And he just stopped there. But she's like, no, they figured it out. Like, we can copy their model. Like, cattle become something else. In some circles, they become tasty hamburgers. In other circles, I used to take thyroid medication that, was made from bovine something or other. So, cattle become something else. And
it's in your protein
there's money
shakes,
there.
People.
There's money there.
So I think it's just super stubborn and just stupid of him to not consider other options at this point.
Like while they were having this back and forth, I'm like, but they have money. They had money pouring in last season from the horses that Travis was, cutting for them. The horse showing and stuff like that. So, there hasn't been like a whiff of that at all this season. So I don't know if it's not yielding what it was, or they're just not considering that cash flow. Maybe that's just covering operating expenses. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. But she specifically pointed out, like, you're not making any money. Like, you haven't.
Right.
So to me, it's just unreasonable for him not to consider another option other than shipping his herd of cattle to another state to lease land for how much was it a month?
$1.4 million a month.
A month. Well, how does that make any sense?
I'm in the wrong business, I tell you.
I know, shit. I wish I owned a pasture.
For horses and cattle to graze for a month, right? $1.4 million. Okay.
I don't know. So this was stressing me out, this conversation. And then for him to be immediately planning to send off all of our favorite characters to another state for a year. Oh, I don't know. Indefinitely. It depends. And then finally, Rip throws out maybe a year. I was like, a year?
A year, yeah.
I mean, this is huge. Is this really going to happen, Sheila, do you think? Like, for real?
I think it's going to have to happen. But I had questions about, like, who he chose. Like, Ryan doesn't make sense to me because he's a livestock agent. Like, wouldn't you want to keep him back? Yeah, he's a good cowboy, but Colby, is equally as good, I suppose. But yeah, that was like immediately I was like, well, I don't know if Rip really thought that one through.
Yeah.
And then like that choice now spells the end of Ryan and Abby. Hate exit Lainey Wilson.
I know.
Jake and Teeter made sense to me. Walker made sense to me, but Ryan just didn't because of the livestock angle.
Mm-hmm. It was so funny how happy Walker was to be. He was like, hell yeah, I'm about to do some cowboy shit. He was
I didn't know he had so many teeth. He was so happy.
He was like so happy to get out of there. He's like, yes, finally. Because he did. He said he's been at the 4 Sixes before, right?
Yes.
Like a long time
ago, he
yeah.
knows of it. I'm not sure if he'd been there himself.
I think that's a good call to have somebody there that knows where you're going.
Definitely. Is Jake branded? I can't remember.
It doesn't seem like it.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I was just like looking to see like what was similar between all of them, but most of them are branded, but who knows? But yeah, the Ryan angle was the only thing that I was just like, okay. Only because of the livestock angle, but because now Casey's not really doing the livestock thing, so all we're left with is Officer Steve Hendon, who we know how successful he is.
Yeah. I think that it feels very rushed, this decision to ship off the entire herd and Rip and half of their staff, and then for Beth to be wanting to go with them. Like, this just feels very chaotic and unsettling and confusing. So I don't know, especially if, say next episode, they're trying to ship all these cattle off. They're trying to send Rip away and then here's the press conference from Rainwater and Linnell. And then that's just a storm.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That's a lot to handle in a day.
That's a tornado right there.
So I think if Beth were going to talk John into some other solution, she better come up with it in the next hour because he's already moving forward. So I wish she would be able to convince him to do something different. It just feels like the wrong choice, I guess. I don't know. As a business owner, he really should listen to her in that sense too. Like, she went to business school, and she goes, I've been doing $50 and $100 million deals for clients. She goes, let me do this for you. Yeah, like why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he listen to her on this? So I hope that she puts up a little bit more of a fight on that, or something changes, but we'll see. I thought it was really adorable that Rip asked her to go to the fair. I loved that scene. This whole, this is what I love about the writing of Yellowstone, is that they have this momentous climax of action, and all the action right now has just been words. Yeah. Herd has brucellosis, or suspected brucellosis. Got to move them. $1.4 million a month. We don't have it.
in walks Rip.
Do you want to go to the fair with me? And then John's like, wait, is this some sort of code for something?
Yeah.
So
that
funny.
I shouldn't be knowing about.
I was dying. I was laughing so hard. It's like, that's hilarious.
But that's like the tension relief that we've needed.
Yes, I needed to laugh. Like we
needed to laugh. Show. And, you know, some of the writing, the last 2 episodes in particular, I didn't have the same pacing. And like I've been very conditioned over 4.5 seasons now to know what to expect of a Yellowstone episode. So this episode had it. Like we had Walker saying, we're going to do some cowboy shit. And this moment with John. And then we also had just, you know, the cattle moments, right? Where they're, you know, roping the calves and stuff like that. So that's the comic relief that we need, or the tension relief that we need. And maybe it's not comedy.
Oh,
but...
you just mentioned the roping, and that reminded me of Summer. And like, I cannot believe she got in on the action, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, it was hilarious. She was like, oh, I'm so traumatized. I'm so traumatized. And I was like,
sorry,
I think I would be too. Like, So my husband was telling me, he's like, yeah, he was telling me that he's like seen this happen. And he's like, they just cut him off. I'm like, what? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, I'm a little traumatized as well. Like, that's eek.
The closest I've ever come to anything like that is I sheared a sheep once. That was traumatizing because I cut the sheep with the shears. I felt
you cut him?
I did a little bit on the leg. I mean,
I know.
I felt really bad. I was like, I'm so sorry, little sheep.
I'm sorry, little sheepy. I know. I cut my dog's. He was like bleeding the tiniest little drop of blood. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I was so upset. So I don't think I'm cut out for cowboy shit.
No.
That's not for me.
No.
But I enjoyed seeing her so uncomfortable and just dramatic about it. Like being like, oh my God, ew,
but
ew,
she
ew.
still
like,
did it. So despite being traumatized and being dramatic about it, but she also did it. And I appreciated that she was able to set aside her principles and her strong feelings about animal rights and things like that to see another side. I think that was an important step for her too.
Yeah.
Good job, Summer. Good job.
It was definitely a cool scene. So it was
Before
funny.
we go to the fair, this scene with Carter and Rip.
I know.
It was 14 seconds long, if it was even that long. But Rip called him son. And with just enough gentleness in his voice to mean it.
But for him to not answer him, I was like, answer him. He needs to know. I just feel like that's that insecurity of like, oh, like Rip is the only person that sort of, you know, has
there for
Carter
him.
there. Yeah. And so for him to leave, I bet Carter feels super unsettled about what's going to happen to him. So everything. He has nowhere else to go. So,
and like if Beth takes off with Rip for even part of it,
you can't leave Carter.
That's going to leave Carter in the bunkhouse with Lloyd and Colby and Ethan.
But those are nice guys. Lloyd would be nice to him.
But, you know, Lloyd has definitely taken Carter under his wing, and that's been a lovely relationship to watch.
If the one person who like sort of promised you a job, or say someone promised you a promotion and then the next day they got fired, you'd be like, well, wait, what about, did they tell you that?
Yeah, what about me? Yeah.
Did they tell you what they said to me? Because that's what they promised. Like, it's a little, it's unsteady. So,
but he's also like 16 and his parents are dead, and this is his family now, and now the family's taken off for a year. So I felt it. I felt so sad for him, and it kind of bugged me that Rip didn't give him a little bit of a time frame. Reassure him a little bit, I guess, is what I wanted. But the fact that he called him son, I just hung up on that. I'm like, oh, good for you, Rip. Emotional growth.
I bet he gets, like, if they do leave, I bet Carter gets some reassurance that he's got a place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think
it was just going to take off and be like, peace out, homie. They'll be like, no, they'll give him some reassurance. Mm-hmm. He might end up going. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Because Beth will be like, hey, we're going. He's got to come with us. There's been a bit of a warming on all parts with Carter. So I hope that they continue that.
I don't know why they went to the fair other than it's like in town or whatever, but is it because the branding is over and this is like, okay, your celebration? But it's something you do like in a small town. Yeah.
Well, it's been around for 92 years.
Yeah.
You know, Rip was so quick to tell John.
Like everybody goes. I don't know. I thought it was nice of Rip to tell the guys to go, just as sort of like a release of...
Yeah. Well, like, you know, a little bit of appreciation for, like, the job
that's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, enjoy the night on me kind of thing.
Yeah, so that was nice. And then I guess it was, like you said, it was funny for Rip and Beth to go. I thought it was funny that John sort of invited himself along. That made me laugh too. I was like, well, he didn't technically invite you. I'm like, I wouldn't want to go to the fair with
my father-in-law.
I'm like, okay. But I just loved seeing Carter and Tate. It's so funny too with their broken arms and they're like shooting their guns. Like they both have broken arms. They're like the same age. I hope that they become friends.
They need friends. There's like no other kids on this show, so I feel like these two need to like bond a little bit. I did find it funny that Casey was like. So this was the first time that we've seen Monica and Casey like smile. Mm-hmm. Like they're just genuinely happy, right?
Yeah.
That they're becoming a taxi in a bank.
Yeah.
Like every parent of teenagers, this is their lament, right? When their kids start growing up and don't need them as much.
That was funny. She's like, well, one day they'd be driving us around. Like, not that soon, Monica.
She should have let him drive the car at the beginning. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't go back to that.
No, we're not going back to that. Sorry. Moving forward. So we had some teeter talk this episode. She wants to win a bar.
On the bar.
Bear.
We don't talk like that.
No. Well, Travis last season told her that there's no way that from where she's like drawing the map of where she's from, he's like, you are not from fucking Texas. Do not say you are from Texas. You are from Arkansas.
That's so funny too. And who is she talking to though? The Clara?
Yes.
Is it Clara? And she's like, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
She's like, are you speaking fucking English? It's just over the top. I feel like it's overdone.
Like she was dialing it back, and now like this episode, like she put the cotton wool back in her mouth.
We're the bar.
We're a bar.
But I did like when she went out. She's like, I love my fucking bar. So funny. I was dying. That was so funny. I like that they had them all in unison, like translate for her. That made me laugh. She wants
and Colby is just adorable at winning this bar for her.
The bar.
So
That's so.
that was just
I love that scene. That was so cute.
I don't know how well Teeter is going to take the separation from Colby if they go away for a year, because she was part of the 4 that was picked.
She said thank you. Like she seemed excited. She said, "Okay, thank you."
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like she's going to have a little meltdown following this initially, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this all goes. But I definitely think that Beth is going to end up out there with them. Maybe not on horseback, but I think she's definitely going to be a little bit more.
I don't see how she can with everything going on with the ranch and then with what's about to happen with Jamie. Like, I don't see how she can leave.
That's a really good point that you said, because I was like, oh, she's definitely going out on the road. But now this eruption with Jamie is going to probably... Because I figure she could do the work with the 4-6s and learning sort of their business model, that she could learn that on the road. But I feel like, what you said is probably accurate. Like, Jamie's going to prevent her.
Like, John can't be left at the ranch by himself to run everything. He doesn't seem to be thinking clearly. I don't know. I don't see how she can go, technically, in a business sense.
And then the resentment that's going to breed now that, like, Rip is going to be off for a year and she's going to be tethered to this dungeon that she's called it. Because of Jamie, Jamie's going to die. She's going to kill him. That's it. You're taking away the one little breath of happiness that she has. And now you're turning everything on its... Yeah, like, ugh. I had her riding off into not riding off into the sunset, but her taking off in a plane.
Yeah.
Heading to Colorado or wherever she's going to meet them.
I didn't even think about her resenting Jamie for that. That's another layer to this onion.
Yeah, but that's exactly where the blame is going to, lay at. And she's just going to, she's going to decapitate him. I'm sorry. I've said it 3 times. That's what I see in Jamie's future. She's going to come at him with like a big kitchen knife.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Ew. It's going to be bloody. He's going to be in the train station.
I don't want to see that. This is not
I can't put anyone else in a coma. John's been in a coma. She's been blown up. Jamie's gotten away unscathed, so he needs a little bit of bloodshed. Casey's been shot, for crying out loud. Yeah. John's been shot.
That's actually a good point.
Jamie's got to shed some blood. It's going to happen.
Dude, you're right. I haven't even thought of it from that angle.
There's my bold prediction.
That is a bold prediction. You are.
Jamie is going to shed some blood. Well, no. Jamie's blood is going to be shed. There you go.
Okay. But on the preview for next week, he has a tiny little drop of blood on his forehead. Does that count?
He does.
For shedding blood?
I think because Beth probably got to him.
Do you think there'll be more blood than that tiny little drop on his forehead?
I think there's going to be more blood than just that. Yeah. I think
I did notice that.
I think his nuts are in jeopardy. I think if Beth gets anywhere within kicking range, his nuts are going to be on the floor.
Oh, geez.
Either that or coming out his mouth. Sorry, guys.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, because I also feel that Beth has this pent-up rage about finding out about his baby a couple of episodes ago. That hasn't gone nowhere.
Ooh, why has she not told John that?
Yeah, well, I feel like she's probably waiting to unleash all holy hell on Jamie. And I feel like this is it now. Like, we are at the apex here, the climax of where Beth is going to be like, all I can stand and I can't stand no more from you, Jamie. And she's going to unleash, like, the fires of hell upon him. Because, this has been building for a while now. Like, there's been nothing about the baby since. And like I said, I don't think that she's going to do anything to the baby. I feel like Jamie's going to get the fire of everything that she's got coming at him. And this impeachment proceeding that he's going after is just going to be the thing that tips her back into crazy Beth. Crazy mean-ass Beth.
Crazy mode. Oh, my God.
Yeah. It's going to be like a cut snake soon after this.
So now she might really be going to prison.
No, they still have the train station.
Well, what? No one's going to notice the Attorney General's missing?
Well, accidents happen in Montana, Steph. People go kayaking down a river and they end up strangled and drowned.
Okay.
And medical examiners end up blown up in their labs from
smoking their own fumes.
Getting high on their own supply.
I don't know. I think someone might notice the Attorney General's didn't show up for work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think it's quite as easy as the train station. But this is very exciting as far as drama.
And speaking of just like the last little bit of drama we can squeeze out of this episode as we approach an hour and a half, we get this cute little moment between John and Summer.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think?
I don't know. It was sweet. But I still don't really, I don't know. Something about Summer and John was like, eh. But I do like the way they were sort of like bantering and flirting. And she's just like, something about a sad song and a cowboy.
But John laughed when she was talking to him. Like, he had this little laugh. And it was like, I took note because I'm like, we haven't heard him laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Like, ever. He kind of chuckles sometimes, but like, she was laughing about like him kidnapping her. Yeah, so he has this little, like, I don't know, can a man giggle? I guess a man can giggle. It was this cute little, like, chuckle of a laugh, and it's just sounded so genuinely happy, and that's something that we haven't heard from him. And I just feel like it was just a moment for him. Maybe with Linnell, he's kind of laughed that way.
Yeah. It did seem like that, like a moment that they were just happy.
Yeah, like
together.
He was just not thinking about the cows and the brucellosis and the $1.4 million. He was just enjoying the moment, the sad song, the not wanting to postpone that look. I liked his little hat trick for...
I liked how much they've talked about all the people around, and he's like, well, my press secretary's not looking, and...
Oh, she was busy making out.
Yeah.
She had her own cowboy moment.
But yeah, the hat trick works, by the way.
That was cute. I thought that was very cute. And then we had the band playing was Zach Bryan. It was Zach Bryan and his band.
Yeah.
He was tweeting
good music on the show.
He was tweeting as this episode was airing that he loved being out there and wants to be called back for many more episodes. So
yeah,
I guess he had fun.
Well, I need to go to a country concert soon. It's been too long.
Hey, listen, I feel like Ryan Bingham is calling our name in February.
I know, he's very much calling my name. It's Fort Worth. It's not that far from me, Sheila.
I can fly direct.
Oh, jeez.
American Airlines fly direct there.
Ryan, I need tickets, please.
We would definitely appreciate tickets and plug the hell out of the show.
Okay, yes. Exactly. We could be his promotion crew.
Next episode is going to be on January 1st. There is a week break, and then after that, I don't know when it comes back. In the meantime, 1923 is airing, and you can follow the coverage over on Pod Clubhouse with Caroline and Mike with the 1923 podcast. So if you are subscribed to this podcast, you will automatically get those in your feed as well. So enjoy those. If you have not yet
I saw lots of positive comments on that show.
Yes, so far. I
haven't been able to watch the first episode yet.
I did watch the first episode. I loved it. I thought it was really good. And then if you haven't watched, go watch 1883 to get yourself caught up in all the Dutton lore. If you're a fan of Yellowstone, you will 100%, I guarantee, really love 1883. And then this way you'll segue nicely into 1923.
Yeah.
Lots to do while Yellowstone is on hiatus. Lots of Yellowstone-like things to keep catching up on.
Exactly.
I think that's it for me. Do you have anything else?
No,
we talked a long time about this episode.
Yeah. Imagine if all of those things that we said happen in the next episode. Imagine how long our podcast will be next time. We'll have a lot to say.
A lot to say and a lot of editing to be done.
Right. We love you, editors. Thank you.
Yes, we love you, editors.
But we appreciate everyone listening, everyone following along, all of the comments we get on Facebook and Twitter. So keep them coming. Thank you for reaching out, and please continue to do so. If you can, like and share, tell your friends, and send them the link. We would appreciate it.
Yeah, and any platform that you listen on, if you could rate, review, and subscribe, always appreciated.
Thank you for listening. This is Steph.
And this is Sheila. Thanks again.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you for listening. This has been an original Pod Clubhouse production. Pod Clubhouse is a podcast network dedicated to encouraging collaboration among podcasters and friends to bring a fresh voice and diverse perspective on a wide array of content. Please visit and leave a comment for us at podclubhouse.com. Rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast feeds on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find us at Pod Clubhouse. Our DMs are always open, and we'd love to hear from you.